On the land itself, before the house was built, there was an Indian massacre. There was a witch that was burned at the stake. There's a portal in here that they can't close. People have been touched. The exorcism that happened here. You hear footsteps upstairs. But there's a soul that's here that likes to screw with people.
Alright guys, this is your man, the Rev. We are at the Hinsdale House on McMahon Road in Hinsdale, New York, and we are doing the feed from here tonight. Dan Klaes, the owner, is actually here tonight, so we will be doing a interview with him as soon as we get done with the tour. So stick with us, and we'll be here.
Yep.
All right, I am with Dan Klaes, guys. This is the Rev, and we are at the Hinsdale House. We were honored by coming up here. He invited us up to do a recording for you. We're going to stream it. There was some issues earlier, but that's all right. Dan is the paranormal extraordinaire and the owner of the Hinsdale House and the one in Salamanca. What is that?
Wildwood Sanitarium. I don't own that. My friend does, but we're working together.
We're working together, so make sure you get up both of them.
Yes.
How's this place coming for you?
Good. I mean, it's a long process, but we're getting there. I mean, we have the house stabilized. We've got new siding put on, new septic, new toilet, the bees are gone, the roof's done. We're moving on to the next stages of putting a museum in. So,
earlier, you'll see in the video, guys. Earlier, he did say about a museum. It's going to be right down the street. You said,
no,
right?
It's going to be right on the other side of the driveway here.
All right. And how big did you? I mean,
probably about 2,200 square foot is what I'm looking at right now.
That's a good size, guys. You got to come up here. I know you do podcasts. I heard that earlier. Is there anybody you want to throw out there, because you support everybody?
Yeah, I do a podcast on Mondays with Bernice Golden, legendary psychic Bernice Golden. Tuesdays, my podcast is called Phenomena Encountered with D. Garcia. So check both of those out. Just Google them and you'll find them for sure.
That's great. I appreciate you letting us come up. I really do.
Yeah,
we've come up here personally, and we've always enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I'm glad you got everything done, back up and running the way it was from last time. It looks a lot better than what it was.
I'm glad. I feel like it's coming together. So
that's great. Again, I appreciate you bringing us up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. And when I turned the boards around, they were actually paintings. Quite the restoration project. I always like to explain why I bought the place, because when I got it, it was kind of a wreck of a place. I was in a place that had, the wood creaking, or somebody pulling a prank on us, and it wasn't until I turned 18 that my friend talked me into going to Lilydale, and
that's the start.
Yeah, and I didn't really believe in psychics, and up to that point we were just very Catholic, and didn't really believe in too much of that stuff. And I said, well, make an appointment with a good psychic for me, and my friend made an appointment with the psychic. She was the president of the Lilydale Assembly. I said, well, pretty cool. So I went with her. Her name was Ellen Bourne. And I went to the appointment, and I went to go sit down with her, but before I even sat down or even paid her, and she says, you have 2 children's spirits living in your house. And I said, wow, that kind of just summed up everything I wanted to know. Thanks, I'm out of here. I went on to college. She told me some more stuff. She said that there's that road to get to the house, and in the middle of December, it's desolate. You can't. Now what do we do? And it was finally her son Kenneth got in contact with me, and I guess there was a lot of people wanting to do the same thing that I was doing, and he goes, we're going to tear the house down in 2 weeks. We've already ripped all the electrical and ductwork out of it. Nobody's buying the place. Nobody wants we'll knock the house down, and hopefully somebody will buy the property, the land with the pond on it, Hunter or something. And I said, no, I want it with the house on it. And I explained to him why, and he told me if I'm serious about it, to come and meet him. And I met up with him in Cuba, and he basically laid it down for him what I wanted to do, and that was it. I had to come up with $10 grand before the 2-week deadline. and I had just closed on a new house for my family. So it was like, I remember speaking to my wife and how crazy she thought I was, and, you know, well, honey, I want to buy this farmhouse. It's from 1853. It needs a new roof. It's got black mold all throughout the house. It's got a beehive of 500,000 honeybees in the wall, and it's falling apart. But I need 10 grand. You know, like, let me sell it to you right now. You know, and she supported me, and it was all we basically scraped together all we had, so I could come and put the deposit down and get this thing. And I was worried, because I remember coming here before I went to go sign the mortgage, and the grass was up to here on me, and I saw the roof, and I saw the honeybees flying in and out of the boards over here in the back, and the black mold, and the door was just wide open, so there were squatters coming in and out, and, you know, people just using it for whatever they wanted to use it for. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but something told me to just do it. Something told me to just go do it, and I started renovating what I could with donations from people. And then I had a day of clearing, and from doing some tours, we scraped up about $4,000, and with that $4,000 in donations, we were able to get the whole roof done. We had 63 people show up, and we got that done the first year. So that was my biggest concern, is because it was leaking. You know, the roof was leaking, and getting that roof fixed was the biggest thing for me at that point. Then it's been a patch job, and then we've been fixing it up ever since. We've had to get the septic system redone. It was $10,000. We've had to get new plumbing all throughout the inside of the house and the basement. We've had to get a new toilet installed. We've had to get the wells re-drilled. We had to get a new pump. We've had to get black mold removed throughout the house, and we've had to have the beehive removed, which was 500,000 honeybees in the back of the house. So there is beekeepers that came and got them out safely, and I wasn't going to kill them. So there is, right down the road, if you go down towards Arcade, there's honeybee sellers. So there's haunted Hinsdale honey for sale down that way. Closer to Arcade. And I do get free honey now, because I gave them a lot of bees. It was a huge honey hive. If you go on the Facebook page and look at the pictures, it's unbelievable. They're like 4 foot long into the floorboards of that room up there. But it was just been a process. You know, I'm happy with the progress. You know, it looks like a well-maintained farmhouse now from the outside. We have
3 years ago? Oh yeah.
Yeah. We've had no break-ins in 2.5 years, and I think that, and the community surround, you know, is the Cattaraugus County and the community is helping. You know, they're promoting the house. They're seeing the value and what it does for the community, because it brings in people from all over the world. We've had television shows filmed here. We have another one that's going to be on TV on October 28th on the Travel Channel, called America's Most Terrifying Locations. That'll be at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock on the 28th. So this location and my other location in Salamanca, that's Wildwood Sanitarium, which we're renovating right now, will be on that show. So it's going to be pretty cool.
That's a really nice place. I was out there.
Yeah.
There's so many rooms, and like the house is like a maze.
Yeah, I mean, it was an old tuberculosis hospital and a ballistics hospital, and it's got a lot of history to it.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of history, and it deserves to be fixed, and it deserves to be saved. And it's kind of my passion is to try to save the buildings and the history with the help of the paranormal, and it's working. So, how many of you guys know the stories of this place, the stories of the house, besides for the exorcism? Everybody know all these stories here? Nope. No? Nope. All right. Well, let me find. There's a lot of them. We have, I mean, what made it most famous was the 1970s. There was a family that moved in here and started having really bad reactions in the house, poltergeist-like activity. Things would get up and fly into the wall. Like there was an ashtray. Clara, who wrote a book about it, she kind of documented everything that was happening, and she had later released it in the 1980s, and it's called Echoes of a Haunting. Basically documents the 4 years that they stayed here, and her younger daughter was terrorized, and it was just not good for the family. They talked to a priest at St. Bonaventure named Father Alphonse Trabolt, and he was counseling them through this whole thing. Came at one point and says, you know, you want me to come and do a mass at your house? Do you think that would help? And she said, oh yes, yeah, that would be wonderful. So he came here and he did the mass in the kitchen. Everybody participated, and everything died down in the house. But then it came back full force on them again. You know, knives in the wall, things getting thrown off shelves. You know, it was just not a good thing happening for them. And it wasn't just happening in the house. They were seeing like shadow men out in the forest when they were traveling around. They were seeing weird beings out here. Even she talks about UFOs in her book. So it's pretty cool to be able to look back and see that. I have a couple copies of the book in there that she wrote because Nick Roth actually bought the book rights to it from Ghost Adventures, the guy from Paranormal Lockdown. So we were able to actually reprint some of her copies, and she's getting proceeds from that now. So we have some of that in there if anybody wanted to read it. But it's to a point now where the family is getting terrorized, the young daughter is getting scratched and getting really mentally affected by it, and finally the priest calls upon the Catholic Church to perform a structural exorcism of the house. Now this is before the movie The Exorcist came out, so this is all very taboo back then. It's pre-1976. This is when 1973, 74 when this is all going on. And the papers are picking up on it. The Buffalo News, the Olean Times Herald, papers are, people are, they're printing newspaper articles about what's happening from this little white house up on the top of the hill, and the family is getting tormented also by the community as well, because nobody believes in ghosts, nobody believes in this type of stuff back then. And the Catholic Church grants the priest to do that structural exorcism in the house. Now this is kind of taboo because they've never done anything like this. The priest decides to bring a film crew in from New York City. Also, he brings in a famous psychic by the name of Alex Tanis. And when he initially does his walkthrough of the property, which was originally 100 acres, he talks about a hanging tree that was at the northeast corner of the property, the main road where you guys are turning in over here. It was actually hit by lightning in 2003 and fell over into a ditch. But we did verify that there was a hanging tree with the town of Hinsdale that they did use up at that northeast corner originally. And he tells a story about a young woman that was hung that committed adultery, supposedly committed adultery, and she was pregnant. But I guess the truth behind the story was that she was married. They just couldn't afford a ring, and the husband was off at war, and he later came back looking for her and was lied to, and they never were reconnected back. And then the spirit that we find out here, roaming out by the pond and behind the house, this woman in white, a lot of people associate with that story. That's folklore. I mean, it's not, there's no truth to that we can find whatsoever. It's just a story that was told by a psychic when he came here in the 1970s. They filmed this structural exorcism in the house. It happened right in the living room. When they started performing this exorcism, they said the house shook. You could hear a screeching, and it sounded just like a banshee. And it worked for a little while, and then it started coming back again and affecting the family once again. So basically the priest said, you know, there's nothing more I can do. You know, this is all I can do to help you. You know, my best advice is to leave. And they left, and they moved out to the West Coast. And you know, tragedies hit the family so many times since they've left, and it's really sad. You know, the younger daughter ended up committing suicide, and the son ended up getting killed in a car accident. And you know, it stinks. You know, being a parent, to think about having your kid die before you, you know, and having to deal with all that anguish. You know, I'm in contact with her. I'm in contact with the family because I want to be able to tell her story. And I want to be able to tell it the way that she wants it told, because it was her family and what she went through. And I try to be as respectful to her as possible and what they went through. There's other stories too. I mean, and we've actually uncovered some truth behind some of the stories. It was funny because when I first got the house, I started researching the property because I said this had to have happened to other people. All we know about is this one family, you know, and I had come to the house and I had read about the Niznik family that lived here in the 1980s. They were an older couple that passed away here. And Flo and Joe, and there's some YouTube videos of them up. And I heard something. I was in the kitchen. This is right before there was no electricity in the kitchen. It was going through the foreclosure process, and we were basically saying goodbye to the house because we didn't know if we were going to be able to save it or not at that point. And I had a K2 meter in my hand, and everybody was talking about the exorcism this, exorcism that, and nothing was happening. And then finally I had said, Flo, are you here? And then I got this jolt up my arm. Felt so electrical, goosebumps, and I had never felt anything like it. And I had a K2 meter in my hand, and the K2 meter lit all the way up to 20 milligauss in my hand, which is the highest it can go. That's like putting it up to a fuse box in my hand. And no explanation whatsoever that I can think of why it would go that high. I continued to have what I felt was a conversation with Flo Misnick in the kitchen. When you guys watch those shows on TV, you see those K2 meters, they bleep on and bleep off, and supposedly they're having communications with a ghost or a spirit. I asked her to hold my hand. You know, I had the thing in my hand, and I said, can you hold my hand as we go up the stairs? And as we walked up the stairs, the thing stayed lit in my hand all the way up the stairs until we got into the master bedroom. When I tried crossing over into Mary's room, that room, if anybody's seen Paranormal Lockdown, the one with all the flies that were in the window, then I lost her. I immediately yelled out to my photographer. I'm like, Louie, come and get some pictures in here quick. You know, I felt like Flo's in here, you know, and he started taking some pictures in infrared, and as he was doing that, we got it looks like a picture of a leg walking up the stairs, which was just amazing to me. And that 2 nights before me coming here, her granddaughter reached out to me out of the blue. It was just kind of like, wow, this is weird how things can happen, you know. And she actually comes up to the house. She feels a connection with her grandmother here. She helps out with tours. She's very interested in the paranormal, but she's, you know, I feel like she's kind of like family. She's from Buffalo, and she comes up here quite often to kind of connect with her grandmother. So it was kind of that's kind of another thing that pushed me into buying the house, was that personal connection that I had with Flo here, and I knew that there was definitely more to this place than that. There's a story about because we get people catch this little, it looks like a little boy in suspenders that runs around on the outside and the inside of the house, and there was always this story about a little boy that was killed out by the barn. Come to find out in our research, there was a little boy that was killed in 1947. He was playing on a buzzsaw, and the chain snapped and cracked him in the head, which is a true story. You know, there's definitely no guarantee that we can associate that little boy spirit with him, but there's definitely a truth to somebody dying on the property that happened. You know, it was pretty neat to be able to actually have, you know, documentation of that happening. There's also a shadow figure that we get that comes through the kitchen, and they catch it out in the front, and they catch it out in the back here, and it looks like he's carrying a rifle or a gun sometimes. And a lot of people, you know, were telling me the story about a brother that killed his brother, and then I come to find out there really was it was down the road a ways, but behind the house they were arguing back in the woods about religion, and ended up shooting his brother because he was becoming a Jehovah's Witness. And he just got out of jail last June, and there's definitely truth to that story. In researching the house, I had researched the house and dated it back to 1907. I had never known when the house was built yet, because actually the research that I had done was incorrect. I'm not the best researcher in the world. 2 years ago, I had Live Sci-Fi here, and they were doing a 2-day investigation, and their researcher, she's a reporter from Erie, Pennsylvania. She had taken what I had, and then she called me up and she goes, Dan, you know, you screwed up. You spelled this name wrong. I go, okay. And what does that do for me? And she says, well, this helps me give you further history on the house, because if you spell the name right, it crosses this history out, and then you got this history, and boom, now we have it dated back to 1799, which is amazing. There's the folklore of the house about 2 brothers that lived in this house that would kill, rape, and steal people's goods from stagecoaches as they were traveling through. lure them up to the house, and then keep their bodies in the storage area or the kitchen or in the basement. And then after the winter, they would bury them out in the hill here. And there was never any truth to any brothers living in the house until then. You know, it was creepy because when she showed me the history, and then I looked back to when the house was built in 1853, it said two brothers with the last name of Everetts, you know, owned the house at that point, and that's right around the time with the stagecoaches. Now, I don't want to, again, I don't want to try to put a bad name on these Everett people, because in researching them, they seem like pretty nice folks back then. We don't know that they killed or murdered anybody. It's just, again, folklore stories, but there's truth to every story that gets passed along, you know, and who knows. It's funny, too, like, I get called to Iowa a lot. You know, I end up in this, for some reason, I end up in Davenport to do lectures and speeches about the house, and I'm like, this is weird. Iowa, out of all the places, you know, like, paying for me to come out here to talk about the Hinsdale House, you know, and then when I was researching one of the brothers, because he had left, he actually moved to Davenport, and his grave is there. I was like, wow, this is so weird, you know, like, that he's actually buried here, and I went and actually visited his grave. Just other, there was a family by the name of McMahon O'Briens that lived here, and this will be the last I talk, and we can go do some ghost hunting. I just babble and babble. I can go on for hours because it's so extensive with the research that I've done. One of the younger great grandkids, his name was Dan O'Brien, had called me up, and he says, you mind if I come and visit the house? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You know, this is great. You know, they lived here for quite some time before the Dandy family moved in. And he came up, and the first thing he said to me when he pulled up to the driveway, he goes, where did the rest of the road go? I go, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, the road used to go all the way up to Wagner Hill, and stagecoaches used to come through here. I'm like, shaking my head. I'm like, wow, this is kind of crazy to think about, you know, because they tore 1969, they tore the barn down and built ponds on the properties. That's another one of my theories. So, but yeah, just to think that he mentioned stagecoaches to me like that, it was like, kind of creepy. One more thing, because the land was originally 100 acres. When it was bought in 1969 by the Reese family, they sub-parceled it out into about 10-acre plots, built ponds on all the properties. I do know that there was a family plot on this property from the McMahon O'Brien family. There was definitely a lady by the name of Rose who's buried out behind the barn. So she's out here somewhere, and family are going to try to come. We're going to actually have to do some ground penetration work to try to locate these graves so we can pay homage to them. But I feel like when they built this pond, they may have unearthed something, because there was definitely an Indian massacre here as well. In the 1700s and early 1800s, it was the war going back and forth. The whole town of Hinsdale was burned down. And you think about this location on top of this hill here with a water source, that's perfect for an Indian tribe to be able to see who's coming, you know, look out and see if there's anybody coming. So it was, when we were doing excavating work here, when we were doing the septic system, we found some relics from the town of Hinsdale, and we found arrowheads, and we found stuff that were really indicative to, you know, definitely being Indians here at some point. You know, I'm going to get those dated as well as see how old they really are. But it's really cool. We have some really cool artifacts that we have that were brought back to the house, and pretty neat. Ed and Lorraine Warren were also here. If anybody, they came and when the pond was dug in 1969, and I just remember when Nick and Katrina were here, they had called her because Tony Sparrow was here, their nephew. He's the curator of the Paranormal Museum for the Occult, and they called Lorraine up, and she said to Nick, you know, Nick said, is there anything that I should do? And she says, Nick, yeah, go to church. Go to church. That was her advice for her. So, I mean, I can say, you know, in owning it for 3 years, I've never had anything whipped at my head. I've never been scratched. I've never had anything negative happen to me. There has been things that have happened to other people. So I always say stay positive. Try to stay as positive as possible. If you feel like something's trying to overtake you, you're feeling really tired all of a sudden, we may want to pull you out of the house just to wake up a little bit, because it's happened before where somebody's actually been affected by it. But they come here a lot, you know. This is a 2.5-hour tour, so it's a situation where they came here and got really tired and really let what was ever here affect their mind. There's definitely a bastard of a spirit that comes out every now and then, but there's a lot of positive communication that we get as well. We've gotten a lot of names to come through that we can put with the history of the house, so it's pretty neat. We do get a lot of, if you just sit and listen out here, sometimes you'll hear like drumming or flutes coming from the forest. We do have a tree up there that we've dedicated to the Native Americans that we give offerings to when we go up into the forest. There's like feathers on it, hanging feathers, there's shells, people believe coins or whatever, you know, just as a homage to the Native Americans, kind of as a symbol of peace. One other thing, in June we've been, has anybody seen Paranormal Lockdown, where when they go up into the forest and they say that it seems like something's watching you, and you can't really tell what it is. There's a dead area and there's a live area, a flourishing area up there. Well, we had a researcher up here by the name of Jeff Fent out of Columbus, Ohio, and he was using different light spectrums. And he caught a picture of this creature, which we don't know what it is. I even sent it to Nick. I sent it out to as many people as I could to try to figure out what the heck this thing could have been that was up in the tree, 10 foot up into a tree. And only one person came out and said it was an Indian shaman out of St. Louis. He says it's a pukwudgie. And I had to research this. And it's basically, this ancient Indian, kind of like a cryptid, if you will, that protects ancient Indian burial grounds, Indian lands, and not something you want to screw with, but pay homage to it, and it'll let you see it if it wants to let you see it. We've caught it on camera 3 times now. It's got big eyes, and I have a really clear picture of it if anybody wants to see it in the house or whatever, so we can do that.
You just put the fire out.
Yeah, it'll start back up, I think. We can do, does anybody have any questions about the house, and anybody scared about anything, or?
Do we get to go back in the woods, or is it too dark?
No, we definitely can go up there.
Okay.
I'll bring a spirit box up there or something, and we can go up there and check it out. Well, I like to go to the pond, I like to go up in the woods, and I like to investigate in the house. So those would be the 3 top areas for me to go to tonight. Anybody have any questions or whatnot? We can go up to the woods first if you want, and I'll get a spirit box, like 18 meters, and we'll take it. Like, if anybody wants to go to the bathroom real quick, go to the bathroom, and in like 5-10 minutes we'll go up in the woods. All right. If anybody's interested too, I do have copies of my book, Claire's book. You know, throughout the night, if you're interested in those, let me know. There's a case in there. Oh, one other thing too. In the case, take a look. Father Alphonse Thibault, who performed the exorcism, his assistant actually donated his mass kit to me, which is really cool to have, that he used at the house. So it's in that case in there right now. It's pretty neat to have that back at the house. So that's pretty neat. Cool. All right. Well, we'll meet back up 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna get some of my equipment and.
Hey Dan, would
Yeah.
you like some help on your equipment?
Sure. I'll have you carry something. So hot. That was a heat stove.
Usually it rains.
Okay. The only thing I'm worried about is what they walk in.
It is. You gotta be real careful.
They're good.
There's a roof in the though. See where it was?
Yeah, today.
Nice. Oh, look, I met her last time, something walked behind my leg. Walked me. I know that happened.
Something like that, yeah.
His eyes and his mouth.
Nice.
It does, but it's weird.
His eyes. And
That was like right up on the. As soon as you walked up
You were
there.
just like snapping pics and then.
Yeah,
went
they
through
well they
them
use
and-
what they use different light spectrums.
Oh,
to see
this
if you
little
can,
guy right here?
Yeah, to see if you
He's
can
like peeking out?
yeah
Sticking his head around the backside of the tree.
to see if you can
Yeah.
if it brings anything out when you're using a different light spectrum like infrared or green light. And they use blue light. And they try different colored lights to see if it would bring anything out when they use the red lights. You know, it's
Did
just
people
like,
ever like, took pictures in the house and then they caught like stuff in the house
yeah,
too?
yeah.
Oh, I have.
There's a ton, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me,
Just orbs or was it
no,
actually
no.
like
Here, let me
shadows?
go to the page and I'll show you some pictures real quick.
Are they on the Facebook page?
Mhm.
Oh, we should look through those.
I know, I didn't think about it.
I heard about your well pump one right over a few
Yeah,
weeks ago.
that stunk.
Oh boy.
Well, it's fixed.
Ours, like every time we lose power, this doesn't even work. We lose everything. We can't even flush a toilet. Nothing.
Yeah, well, that was the problem. I had to get the Zerks up here.
Ah. And my dad's the plumber, so he knows every little, like every commercial thing that he knows.
The internet's going slow.
Hinsdale for you.
Yeah, at least it's working.
Speaking of which, I forgot to show you this. I actually found it on the priest website actually. It actually talks about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's cool. It's been changed though.
Really? Huh. I'm going on to Google and I put in the search in and it goes right to the
Mm-hmm. Come on, pictures.
It's okay.
Here's one.
I know it's-
Here's one in the kitchen that somebody caught. It looks like a dog or an animal coming in right here. You can see?
Oh, yeah.
You can like see his tongue.
Yeah. So we started catching like animals in here. And
Huh.
there was a story of a family that lived here for about a month and a half. Their dog just decided to go run and jump into a car and kill itself, which it was never would have done. And they actually ended up leaving all their possessions in this house because they didn't want whatever was here to follow them. So they left all their personal possessions here and just left and started a new life, got new stuff. We've been in contact with them. I was like, it's really freaky. Let's see if I can get one more. There's a really good one I would think of the daughter that we caught. What the fuck? Why'd you hear it? Is see, this is upstairs. So when you go right up the stairs, right in front of her room,
That's
you
like
can
legit.
see like a dress.
That's pretty,
If you look,
That's really
if you look
like-
really close, you can see a face right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah. But there's if you go on the page and check it out, there's a ton shadow figures and all different types of stuff. I'll just bring my bag.
You get people to come and sleep in here overnight?
Yeah, we do an overnight tour once a month, and then teams will come in. Teams will come in and research the place overnight. Most of the time, we had teams from 5 different countries here last year, and I actually keep journals. So I have like that old bulldog there. When teams come in, and I'll write about their experiences that they had. We've been documenting it for 3 years, so it's pretty cool. and anything that they catch that's significant, we all work together and they send us the documentation and the pictures if we need it. And we're actually going to be opening up a museum on that property, on the other side of the driveway. We're going to build like a base camp apartment and a museum, so we can actually feature a lot of the stuff that we've caught and a lot of the artifacts and things like that that we've gotten from the house. So, are you guys ready?
Yep.
Are we okay to stay if we don't want to take up the treacherous hill?
I'll stay down there with you. I am about climbing up that hill anyway.
What's that?
We were up at
I'll
last
use the
month for
bathroom
the
real
overnight
quick as soon as it
investigation,
opens
and
up.
it was pretty hard. It's
Is this the
and with
beast?
it wet like this.
No,
Oh, we were
no, that's my
slipping
Geo
things
box.
and even-
Oh.
Okay, you guys ready?
We're gonna go up the hill or not, dear?
I don't care. They have my
I don't care is not an answer. It's a good thing I love you.
Hold that down. Just so I can see this.
It's just because it's whoever, if it's some press and.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
It's not, it's not even at all.
Try it. If you don't like it, go back.
Some people.
It's funny, he talked about animals in here. We were here last month with Amy and Jason, and she was sitting there and she just was like, let's do it. Here, in here, and I think I home dinner review. We sent it to Amy, and there's 2 meows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty.
I've had, I am a musician and a filmmaker. I've been on Sci-Fi Channel. I've been in 50 movies or worked on 50 different movies. And I got invited to join bands group because of my knowledge of history and research.
All right, guys, we're going up to the to see the Indian. We're gonna leave a treasure up there for him. Show that we are peaceful. I'm telling you right now, he said it was treacherous, so we'll see.
Somebody's gonna break their neck.
Yeah, maybe we should stay down. It's really bad.
That's just Mikey, Dustin.
Yeah,
Use your shelf.
No, let's stay down. I can do what I'm gonna do down here.
All right, come on, babe. We had a man go down, so we are going to. We decided not to go all the way up. He is all right though, so.
My one friend who I brought with, one of her friends has a camp up here actually somewhere.
That was a short trip.
Yeah, that's bad. Like a slip slide.
Dana, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
It's more like a mudslide.
Yeah. So we can do.
Until tomorrow morning you go.
No. I can do the fourth session right here.
We did stuff here before without that. So what we do. Oh, you just sit next to me, I don't bite. Bite me on? Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't bite hard at least.
Hey, what? I haven't bitten you lately.
Lately.
Keyword.
You might be too.
Something else,
Might as well, huh? So I brought a couple of different spirit boxes with me tonight. I brought a recorder and I got just some basic ghost hunting tools. Are yours going off already?
Yeah, they're all going up like crazy. I have running, yelling.
How many have cell phones on?
I got one.
Yeah. A cell phone definitely can affect them. Put them in airplane mode.
So we shut them down.
You can shut them down, or if you put them in airplane mode, it usually helps.
Oh, airplane mode.
But so the if you guys have seen spirit boxes on TV, you see that they'll kind of make that noise, and then spirits are communicating supposedly through that white noise when it's scanning through radio stations. I've gotten a geo box that's in the inside of the house right now that we can use later, and then I got a geo port. There's an inventor by the name of Stephen Huff and then another inventor by the name of George Brown who invented the geo box. It is basically science in it that will help clear up that static noise, so all you hear are the voices coming through. So that's basically what this is. This is both of them together, putting their heads together to make this box. There's 22 of them made, and that's it right now. The geo box, I think there's like 48 of them. They have those on Paranormal lockdown. They're really cool too. They're a little bit more staticky, but they work really well. So I'll turn this one on and see if we can get. It's very clear, so. Can you guys all hear it? Last time I was here, I heard Puckwudgie come through, and I was like, whoa. And if you guys want to ask any questions throughout the whole time, feel free to move forward and ask some questions as well. We're looking to communicate with any of the entities or spirits of the land or the property that are outside here. Can you tell us your name? Who's with us? Did you live at this house? Tell us your name again, clearly so I can hear you. Speak up. Fred. Fred, were you one of the McMahons? Is your last name McMahon? Fred, what's your wife's name? Soulmate.
Oh, hi.
Did you have any kids? Did you have any problems with spirits when you lived here? Sometimes it feels like they're having a conversation between themselves. Are there any Native American spirits here that want to communicate? Yours good? Feel free to come through and speak through this device.
Can you build a fire?
Tinder?
Tinder.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we need.
Dry Tinder. Are there bodies buried on this property? Would you be able to show me where they are? Yep. Oh. Night? It is night, yes.
Yes. Who's the blue light? No.
The blue light that everybody sees? Jim? Jim? Twice? Did you? Could be a fish. Bullfrog?
Bullfrog the size of a cat, maybe.
Is Jim buried here?
Camp? Yep. I've seen him.
Did Jim have a dog?
What? Jim, did you have a dog? Two? Trapped? Who trapped you? Yeah. Did somebody trap you in the house? Help. Do you want us to help you? Do you feel like somebody hurt you?
Were you killed here?
Who's the man with the deep voice? Where were you trapped? Speak up. Keys? Where were you trapped, though? Mike? Mike was the son that passed away. Who trapped you?
Better yet, what trapped you?
Where should we go next? Pond. Is there somebody wanting to communicate us with by the pond? Who's over there? Is there somebody buried out here? Died? Where were they buried? I've heard it say Nick 3 times. Why do you keep calling for Nick?
They had a fixation on Nick.
Yeah.
And that's
Do you want him to come back here? Who was that? Who was that young girl? What's your name? Enough about Nick.
Well, tell Nick you said hello.
Right. I want to speak to the young girl. Yeah, you. Little girl, are you there? Her name? Yeah, what's her name? Why is there a young girl here? What's her name? I'm gonna turn this down. See if we can go to, if you guys want to go out by the pond, so if we say go to the pond, we can try to do like an EVP session over there. See if we can try to connect with something over there. Get warm?
I before easy go there. Very really. Yeah, like
Just
shivering.
out of the
cold.
blue?
No, like I have been the
Oh.
whole time we were talking to that box. Like everybody else is warm and I'm over here shivering, shaking cold. Like, I feel that. I feel I am. Yeah, you're warm. I have got more clothes on than I do.
You're warm too. Sweatshirt. How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
No,
Yeah?
seriously, like feel that way.
Oh, you're icy.
Yeah. That's what happened when we did the first time.
I got out there a few days ago, Dan. That was a few weeks ago, like when I was doing some hunting on my property too.
Uh-huh.
I go to catch this like weird thing. I'm like, what the heck is this? All I heard was like footsteps going towards me, and I'm like, wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, you just kind of heard, could it have been an animal? Or?
No, there was no animal. I was actually in the spot like where I was telling you about the cold spot.
Uh-huh.
I heard human footsteps going towards me.
We are going to the pond. According to the box, we need to go to the pond. So we are on our way to the pond to see what we can see.
Easier said than done. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, these trees tomorrow, okay? You got one here, you got all those up your feet and don't go see sitting in a tree tomorrow, all right? Don't you go like with you where you been? I'm going fishing. Oh, beautiful fishing. That's why we didn't make the hill. We did not have
Yeah,
four
you can
holes.
hear there's like a little stream. It's a fresh water. It's not fresh water, but spring-fed pond.
Bill. Huh? You warming up? Huh?
Yeah, I've seen them before. It's pretty fun. That big one too, you can be pumpkin. Little pumpkins are real apple.
Yeah, they do like practically anything you can put in there.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think there's something in the middle of the water.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a little high. Yeah, there's all that rain.
Nessie.
Right.
Nessie's in.
Looks like a light in the bottom of there. That's what's like really cool about it.
Yeah, what is
I was going to tell if you're not finding those bodies, I can do that.
Is it,
Scuba diving.
Rose
No.
or
Rose, yeah.
I can find bodies with
what am I trying to think of?
building nuts. No problem. I've done it before. Oh. I'm weird, I know this.
That's just you.
Seriously, I'm so seriously fool about it not. Huh?
The bug flew straight in my eye. Bugging me out.
A bug.
Yeah, like a little bug.
My lawn guy said he was going to try to get here tomorrow. I don't think he's going to. Supposed to rain out.
Some kind of
There's good fish in here. There's perch, bass, small and largemouth bass, bullheads, and yeah, that's pretty good. There's been a couple sunfish caught too. But, ooh, what was that?
Yeah, I just kind of perked up a little on that.
What's that?
That's powerful underwater.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That was built very smart, huh?
It's okay.
I'm sure an engineer did it.
Yeah, I know. That's why they say don't go swimming in this pond. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
All it's electrifying. If you will.
Oh.
So, I figured out here we could do an EVP session. I could turn the box back on and see if we don't get anything on the recorder. But basically, I use just a basic recorder. You can actually use a cell phone, download a recording device. They have such good microphones on them now. And the theory is that when you record with a recorder, that you're able to hear things that you can't hear with your own ears. So when we're recording this, we ask that everybody is as quiet as can be. If you make a noise, just call it out, you know. And so we're documenting it on the recording, you know. Better to do that than think, you know, a noise on there that we can't think of, you know, or we don't know what it is. And then we see if we can get a clear response. It's happened out here many times, so we'll see what we can do. I'll do one, and then I'll do a second one, and then I'll see if anybody wants to come up with a question too and participate as well. What's that? Oh. EVP session out by the pond. This is Dan. Been out here many times trying to communicate with the spirits out here by the pond. I'm trying to communicate with the female spirit that we've spoken to so many times. Are you here with us right now? Can you tell me why you're so sad? Are you looking for somebody? Were you killed or murdered? Where did they put your body? Let's play it back and see if I see anything. EVP session out by the pond. This is Dan. Been out here many times trying to communicate with the spirits out here by the pond. I'm trying to communicate with the female spirit that we've spoken to so many times. Are you here with us right now? Did you hear that? Are you here with us right now? Yes, no. Are you here with us right now? real light. Something came through there. It could be yes, I am.
Can you tell me why you're so sad? There's a plane going over. Are you looking for somebody? Were you killed or murdered? Where did they put your body?
I'll put it in real quick.
EVP session out by the pond. This is Dan. Been out here many times trying to communicate with the spirits out here by the pond. I'm trying to communicate with the female spirits that we've spoken to so many times. Are you here with us right now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's so cool. So, I mean, that's pretty cool to be able to get that come through. I think we should do another one too, because a lot of the times the entities will speak. Maybe they don't want to speak to a male. Maybe they'll communicate or touch with a female voice better than they will a male voice. So, does anybody have any questions that they could think of to ask? What I'll do is I'll just start it, and I'll just kind of go like this, and then when it gets to you, just ask your question. Think of a question that you want to ask. If you don't want to, just shake your head like this to me, and I'll move on. All right? EVP session number 2 out by the pond.
Is Elizabeth Burton here?
Are you buried in the pond?
Are you searching for your husband?
How old are you?
Are you a child?
Oh, helicopter.
Were you hurt here?
Is the woman in white here?
Have you ever been fishing here?
That's probably Mercy's Lake.
That's what I just said, clarified, probably.
They fly over my cabin like every time I'm here.
Yeah. Not a good thing if they're on Earth. So hopefully everybody's where we're going is okay. Alright, let's back and see.
EVP session number 2 out by the pond.
Is Elizabeth Burton here?
Are you buried in the pond?
Are you searching for your husband?
How old are you?
Are you a child?
woman in white here.
Have you ever been fishing here?
You guys hear that?
White here.
Sounds like a male voice or something. Right there.
Have you ever been fishing here?
Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, too. What's that?
Kinda. Okay.
There's one?
Just fun warming up.
Oh. Warming up out by the pond. Just want to go in the house?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there anything back there?
No, interesting. With this pond, when they dug this pond, there was actually a barn here. There's actually some of the foundation on the other side of the pond. And what they dug it all and put it all over on this side of the pond. And there's actually a truck, a milk truck buried over here that we found pieces of a milk truck. We found old milk jugs that say Hinsdale Crosby's on them. That I have. Old pieces of the barn, bottles. So there's a lot of stuff probably to go through over there. Not to mention that there could possibly be a family plot, burial ground over there somewhere.
I thought I heard like kids playing back there. Now that sounds like animals.
No, I definitely heard the dog. Coyotes or whatever.
It definitely sounds like kids like running around laughing when we first came out here. I could not save the fire.
You tried your best.
I tried.
No.
I found out that the last neighbor had wood farm, and this is it.
And he didn't have anything, so we just continued with the protest, and then I was told back to
Alright guys, we are heading back to the house. Pond, we did the boy sent us. Heard a few little things. We're now headed back to the house, see what we got in there.
Hey Dan, I forgot to mention that at the time, what's the one? But they were using the house as a hotel. I got everything I wanted, but I don't know if I believe the internet or if I believe you.
I am working from the research that I got is the house is built in 2 stages. That's part of about the top. I don't know if maybe it's taking part of the people.
I was just.
And I heard of 2 other brothers, and I forgot to mention that. I think their names are Ian and Richard.
Ian and Richard, yeah.
Huh? I don't know.
Oh, she came up to the pond.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I like having my favorite towel. I'm like, oh, something.
I have cleaned system. Nice and prepared. She took
Well, let's go in the living room. Nothing else is
promise of 2 points.
So the one guy would bring them up and then look at them. That's why Did you?
Yeah, we decided not to go into the there, so
I've been here enough, so.
yeah.
To get back there. Everybody wait for the webcam, that's a live webcam right there. So people that are watching us live right now can hear us and see us.
The most amazing time. Oh, really? That's cool.
This is one live webcam. There's one in the kitchen. There's also a live webcam at the Statler Hotel downtown. It's all run by Dan. So anytime you're bored and you want something to do at home, go to paranormalwarehouse.com and you can connect live right to these cameras. They're always on. And you get stuff. People have literally, I've read, have sat on this camera for 4 hours waiting for something to happen. That's hardcore.
So it was built in there too?
No, they were horned.
No, because my cell phone's in this hand. I know. That's funny, somebody was sitting in my chair.
I have no service.
Seriously. I don't know, still jumping.
I can't live stream, I don't have service.
Did you hook up to the internet?
Oh, cool.
No.
You could have done
I think I tried that before and it didn't work right.
that. Oh.
Actually, I haven't with this phone.
So,
It's this.
they were here last month. She said she's got they were doing an overnight expedition, overnight with, you asked if people spend the night. They spent the night with Para Expeditions last month in, 2 years ago now. Yeah. And they were doing some EVP sessions down here in the living room. And they caught this amaze. They were just, you experiment with different things, you try different things, say different things. And the fact that we've been getting so many different animals in the house, we got looks like a hedgehog, looks like a girl was sleeping on the couch and they had put a static camera on her, and she was kind of curved like this on the couch, and her blanket popped. There's a video, if you guys go online, a video of this. It looks like it pops up out of her belly and moves like this and then drops back down. And it also looks like 2 minutes later that an arm goes underneath the blanket and then sinks in. So it looks like just really weird. There's obviously these windows are all shut. There's no fans blowing or anything that would have caused that. So it's kind of Claire even talks about that in her book, a hedgehog animal in her book back in the 1970s, and it's like they were catching pictures of dogs, cats, and then they did this EVP session. She was going to play it for you guys just so you could hear it, and there's clearly no cats in this house.
No, we didn't hear anything when this happened. We just kept going. And it's my phone, so I apologize if you can't hear it very well, but
The speaker too, if you want to.
yeah, maybe. It's there. It's just hard to hear on this, and that's I used it Audacity. High filter, low filter, cleared out the background, and it amplified that.
Cool. He said he's going to snag the speaker.
Want the phone to hear it, or I don't know. Just the arrow.
No, Dan, because I remember the one time, the first time we were here, we saw like what looked like a cat laying underneath this table. That one time.
Pretty neat. This actually used to be a bedroom here. You can see like where the floor is, and they knocked the walls out before I bought it. So eventually I want to put the bedroom back in, just so we can have it original the way it was. But this was actually a bedroom over here. So They perform the exorcism right in this room here, right where we're all standing right now. We've set these cameras up here. One's for Paranormal Warehouse, one's for VidiSpace, which is Nick Groff and Elizabeth Saint's online streaming network. They stream 24/7 now, and they're putting everything in cloud space, so we're catching. It's funny, like when they're streaming live online. If I'm relaxing or something, and I didn't know that they had put it on, all of a sudden my phone starts going bzz, 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 and I'm like, what's going on, you know? And I look, and the people are sending me pictures of things that they're catching in the house. They've caught the first day that we had it on. We had a shadow figure just go right through the kitchen, right into the bedroom there. And there's pictures of it online. There's so many great pictures of this shadow that they catch on the outside of the house and the inside of the house. But this is the other spirit box, the Geo box. This is the one that George invented. I love this box. You get really good responses out of it. It scans through the radio stations, has the white noise. It's got a vibrational field in it, so it echoes. It's going to sound like echoey, but it does give more. When you do get a response, you're able to hear it a lot better. So I'll pop this one on and see if we can. Do you guys want to go in the dark? Better in the dark, right? Much better, right? Oh, we can see the. That little banging noise is the coils that are actually making the vibrations in there. It sounds like somebody's talking. Can you hear us? Hello? Can you hear us speaking to you right now? Hello, can you hear us? Hey? Hi, what's your name?
Sounds like there's a conversation going on.
Yeah, but I want them to. Can you hear us? Can you see us? Trying to communicate with any of the spirits here in this house. Who's here with us right now? Kevin.
I heard that. I'm Kevin. Do you want to talk to me?
This just went off.
Okay, Kuda?
Yeah. Right when after he said that, it went off.
We have many of these devices around the room that you know how to use them. You can go ahead and touch them. Let us know that you're here. That one's going on. Hey, what's going on? Who are you? Frank? Can we get Frank outside too? Did you follow us inside?
That was a kid.
Yeah.
Sound like that young girl again.
Is there a young girl that we can speak with? Keep hearing her in the background. Do you know who the Dandy family is? I'm okay. Good luck. Why are you wishing us good luck?
Who said my name? Tell me who you are.
That's a Glenn.
Yeah, it did sound like it's a Glenn. I don't know any Glenn. Do I know you?
What's that?
I thought I heard him say Glenn.
Glenn, are you there?
Do you have a message for me, Glenn? I'm listening.
Yapper? Glenn, why are you here in this house? Is it fishing? Did something happen to you? Went fishing. Did you used to come here to go fishing? Yeah.
There's some nice catfish in the pond in the back.
Yep. Were you a friend of the family? Ted? Did you live here? Yes. Did you know the Misniks? Florence. So you were friends with Flo and Joe? Are Flo or Joe here? Is that you, Flo? Yeah, that was me. So you're both here still? How do you like what I've done with the place? Can you leave here? Leave, yeah. Are you able to leave this house? Is it Gabe? Who's Gabe? Who's Gabriel?
Can you say somebody's name in this room besides mine?
Okay. Can you speak up louder? Do you know anybody's name in this room? I do? Who do you know? Philip was the father, Philip Dandy. Can you see us? What do we look like to you? Light. Can you look around and tell me what you see? What does it look like? Totally be recording this and then playing it back too if I was going to be using this. I usually don't keep what I do for public investigations. Hello? You trying to communicate with us? I can hear you.
It almost sounded like it was counting.
Like it was what?
Counting.
Hey Mike. I said hey Mike. I called out Mike outside too. Did Mike come back to this house?
How many people are in this room right now? How many living people are in this room right now?
Pretty sure. 15.
I heard 15 and I heard 16.
Oh, yeah, there's the actual figure back there. So yeah, there is 16.
You said 17.
Who's making the lights go off on the table? Who's touching the devices on the table? Did it? Who runs this house? Is there anybody that requires help with anything. If you need help, say me. What's with all the numbers?
I told you before, it sounded like it was counting.
Like it was what?
Like it was counting.
3,100. What's with all the numbers? What are you counting? Are you golfing? Was there a hanging tree on this property? Yes. Yes, there was. Are there any Native American spirits here? I'm going to shut down this line of communication here. Interesting. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. If you want, we can. We have some little bit of time left. We could go upstairs and try to do like a EVP session up there. See if we can get anything up there. I do. I don't know. Maybe we could try like doing a collective consciousness type thing. I've had that work before, where we all predetermine a word. And then we all don't talk, but we just think that word. And then it's happened to me like twice where that word has somehow appeared on a recording, or nobody said it. It's just there all of a sudden. So, what word do you guys want to use?
Farfignugan.
No.
How about your favorite, pickles?
Pickle? Pickles? Pickles? Alright, we'll do pickles.
Something likes pickles because these are going off now you said that.
That's my daughter.
I don't follow you at all.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
She knows how that started. She says there's a show called Smelly Belly TV on YouTube that she watches, and at the end of it they always say, "Don't forget to eat your pickles, kids." And then when she always barges in when I'm doing a radio show, she got known as the pickle. So, it's kind of stuck with me now. People are sending me pickle stuffed animals, pickle shirts.
Swami says pickle pizza this month.
Oh yeah, there was one in Tonawanda too. It looks good actually.
Somebody I know was just making dill pickle soup.
That's actually pretty good too.
Want some pickled beans?
I was doing this. I do this radio show with international psychic Bernice Golden on Mondays, and following my show, I also do a podcast with Dee Garcia out of Brownsville, Texas on Tuesdays, and then she does a podcast with another psychic medium called Chris Moon out of Denver, Colorado. And they were going on right after my podcast with Bernice Golden on a Thursday last summer. And I always would go in and troll them, you know, just like get everybody going and I could get her laughing in 2 seconds. And she reached out to me before her show and she said, Dan, she said, can you please not go in and troll for this show? This is going to be a serious show. We're going to be talking about past lives. And I said, you know what? I promise I will not go in the chat room and troll for this show. She's like, thank you so much. And so as I'm getting done with Bernice and me on Facebook, you know, on Paranormal Warehouse, we had about 800 people in the chat room, and I knew they were going on right after us. So I said, you know what, guys? I go, great news. Right following our show, I go, we're going to have Dee Garcia and international psychic Chris Moon going on. If we didn't get to your question tonight, go ahead and hop on there. And I said, they're going to answer people's questions first if you put #pickle, and I started saying all these keywords, and I knew that would just make her snap and start laughing. So we got off the air, and all of a sudden their thing blew up, and all of a sudden I'll just see #pickle, #John Wilkes Booth, and everybody's like, and they're starting to talk about it. They didn't look in the chat yet, and then Chris Moon's like, why is everybody hashtagging Pickle and John Wilkes? And he's like, oh damn, you know. And then Denise just started laughing so hard she couldn't stop laughing for like 20 minutes. She just has one of those addicting laughs, and that kind of got the pickle thing going too. I couldn't lose it from there. Pickle this, pickle that, you know, whatever. That could be worse, right? Worse than pickles.
I think it's cute.
Yeah. Pickle stuff.
Okay, now bread and butter chips are the best.
Yes, that's better.
Bread and butter chips?
Yeah, quick bread and butter chip pickles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's the best.
Me too.
I know.
You know what's gonna happen.
Well,
You're gonna wear
awesome.
that. My dad's gonna see it. He's gonna tell him that looks like you want it.
We'll have a little bit of time up at the end if you want to. We'll do this for like 15 minutes. If somebody wants to get shirts or books or whatever you can.
Oh, you must have more. That's just. Oh, they're especially for your dad, you can appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
$5 to $10. That's a good idea.
Right.
Wet firewood less.
Wet firewood, $2. Because you're gonna dry it out yourself.
What's wrong here?
Oh, we're just waiting for.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
This is the part you try to throw yourself in. Yeah, don't look any better, huh? There's just 2 feet behind me. Huh?
Have a seat here. Have a seat
right there.
Alright, we'll do this for like just a couple minutes to see if we can get it to come through. Alright. You guys ready? It'll be a hush hush for like 2 minutes and just everybody think the word pickle. Ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Collective conscious experience. Upstairs. Let's see. Let's hear it. Pickle.
Alright. Cult of conscious experience. Upstairs.
That's weird. Something there. Doesn't sound like pickle, but. Right there. Listen. Pickle. Hold on. Pickle.
Yep.
You guys hear me? Pickle.
And it's funny because last time we were here, the one woman that was here said once you come upstairs in this room, your stomach starts gurgling and growling and like doing all this funky stuff. And I'm sitting here listening to everybody's stomach in the room right now.
You have about a timestamp where you heard the pickle name?
On your light. Turn light on. Yeah, about a minute and 20 seconds into it. But I gotta see how long the recording is first. Hold on. It comes in at about 20 seconds, so it's a minute and 50, so a minute and 30 seconds into the recording is this pickle. You gonna play yours? What was after that?
Is it right there?
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
Yep, I have it.
You have pickle too?
Mm-hmm. I feel like the stomach growling. can't get exactly where the time was. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
About 1:38 on my recorder.
Yeah, it's about.
So I started just a little bit after you.
Yeah. Interesting. I have it on 2 recorders.
Give it to.
I was recording long before you guys. So I don't know.
So about 30 seconds after time he stopped it there. It was 30 seconds before he stopped his recording.
It's just, to me, that's very interesting, you know, like, we're all thinking something and it appears on the recording. It means there's more to the mind than we know.
Well,
Two
speaking
recordings.
about mine, Dan, well, my mind is not adjusting yet.
No?
Well, it's getting there.
Let's see if she's got it. Hold on.
How far into it was it for you guys?
That was like a minute and...
Okay.
Mine was at a minute 38.
No, I was at a minute and 30, something like that. Somewhere around there. Yeah.
I don't think I have it.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'd be happy with 1. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna put on my geoport again and see if we get anything different up here. See if it's different than what it is outside. Get out.
Huh?
Yeah, get out, it said right on. Who just said to get out? Is there too many people in here for you? Why did you want us to leave? Who's the female? Who's the girl? Can you speak with us?
Julie.
Julie. Sounds like you have a pretty voice. Julie, you didn't live here, did you?
It's going off like crazy. It's in here the whole time.
Get out. Julie, are you still there? Go, get out, go. Who do you want to leave? Do you want to leave? Can you leave? Lock it. Are you holding somebody here? shit.
If you tell, you're in trouble.
Don't hold back, huh? Was anybody killed here? Yep. Are you being held against your will? Frank again. What's that? The shed? Is there something about the shed? Come out and see. Are you out by the shed? Should we go up by the shed to see who's there? Help? Help me. How can I help you? Definitely a female. Way different. Christian? Are you buried somewhere on the property? Can you go to the light? Fuck no, damn it.
They're a little upset that they can't go there.
Help. You want help going to the light? Yeah. What's stopping you from going? A lot of swearing going on. Help bring. We're all here to help you go if you'd like to go to the light. Nothing's holding you back. You don't have to be scared. You have no power to hold her if she wants to go. Do you see the light? Don't be afraid. Turn around and walk towards the light. Everything will be okay. There'll be people there waiting for you that love you. Dad. Did you say Dad?
I heard Dad.
I heard that loud and clear.
Go see your father. Just because you go to the light doesn't mean that you can't come back if you want to. Go see your family. Nobody's holding you. Are you going to the light? Run. Yes. Did you make it? Yes. Who did you see there? Who? You said the same thing twice.
Frank.
Frank? Is Frank a family member? Or are you calling Frank? No yawning. I'm just kidding.
Okay, and I'm getting real tired, Dan.
Alright, we'll stop this line of communication.
Yeah, there's something that's like uneasy in here, and I'm trying to feel it in this.
Let's lighten it up.
Yeah.
We got a few minutes left, guys, so if anybody wants to check out the property or hang out, buy some books, I'll be downstairs. T-shirts, sweatshirts, whatever you're interested in, anything like that. You guys all had fun. Oh yeah, did you see it already?
No.
Oh yeah, I'll show you my phone downstairs. Hinsdale House Restoration Project.
Oh, okay, I have it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just,
they
look on the
all the way
page and
from City
look
Town.
on the pictures and then let's see, there's a red, it's like a red picture. All red. But I'll show you here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did myself.
Where did you come from?
I want to get a good picture too.
Where did you come from?
From City Town.
Alright, well, let's see.
It's near, like the other side of Buffalo.
What is your name?
Liz.
Liz?
Yep.
Now, Liz is here at the Hinsdale House with us, and she's come all the way from where?
City of Tonawanda.
City of Tonawanda.
By myself.
By herself, in
Yep.
the dark. And
Yep.
we know where this is from where we're at, so that is long. How'd you enjoy yourself tonight?
And I didn't get lost to come here.
You didn't get lost coming
No, it was weird.
here? That's good. How did you enjoy it tonight?
Oh, good. I like it.
Is this your first time?
Yes.
It is?
Yep.
Well, we're glad you enjoyed it. Thanks, Liz.
Yep, I'm gonna stay for the second one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I booked till. Well, is it weird in there if you ever go in there? It's supposed to. You're supposed to feel weird or something.
This is Mary's room.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that people. This is the room that had all the flies in it. And everything.
Yeah, if you go in there, you feel weird.
How positive or negative things are.
Because I see the paranormal lockdown in here.
Sometimes they have. I know the one girl got scratched on her neck. And she was in here, but they were like taunting. So something happened, and she ended up having a scratch on her neck.
One of the ladies at the meeting that we were talking about was she brought up one of her relatives that was here, Benjamin Howard. Yeah. Weird. I was like, oh, from the part that was going right in the book. And it says Lafayette Edwards Farm, and this is it.
Lefevre, yeah, Lefevre. Is everyone? Couple people up there?
There's two upstairs that I know of.
You're your leg?
It's hurt since I got here.
Really?
Yeah.
What that happened to you the
She's
first
gonna
time?
slip down the mountain.
True. Yeah, let's go.
My better common sense told me I really shouldn't go up it. You
Can we
know?
go in the basement?
Yeah. Good luck, Chris.
You first. Unless you want to. I'm always down to go back down. Last time I went down, the leg hurt.
It was weird. Trying to kill myself on steps and those ones.
I wanted to feel.
So, I think I'm waiting to wait for the name for you. Addison, is that your daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I've been following her on Facebook.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, she asked me about